primary idea of me going there is to be amongst the youth who could be, and I still feel that I am one among you. And it gives so much of a happiness to interact with the people. But before I talk about my book or the topic, I'll just touch upon 2 points which I heard from my the two panelists, 2 others just before me. The 2 words which I heard too much in that discussion was, one was passion, second was success. One of the biggest challenge of today, and of course one panelist also was talking about, is the knowledge and the difference between knowledge and wisdom. Let me tell you this, the word success is a very bad word. And whomsoever is ever coming to tell you, and it could be anybody, with all due respect to my dear friend who just talked about the success, there is no definition for success. In fact, one of your own colleague who was just taking me a small video bite of mine was also talking about success. What is the definition of success? So let's not go after this success. Another thing is that these days, every day you hear that there is passion, you should pursue your passion. So I am not going to tell you that don't pursue your passion, but since that needs to be, the word passion needs to be, along with that you should also apply something called as practicality. I'm very passionate about driving. I'm very passionate about driving a car. So do you think that becoming a driver is going to be the mantra of success? Would you like to be a driver? No. So then the second question is that I wanted to have a BMW, that kind of a car which I wanted to drive, and that too on a beach road. Will that be, that passion can be your profession? It's not necessarily always, so just a caution, because wherever I go, most of the time, wherever I go, I see that the people talk about the success and passion. And that needs to be applied. Whenever you get too much of a gang from any platform, including your professors, beware. Keep 2, 3, 4 filters. And I agree with my the former panelist who was talking about that too much of a knowledge. So that also is dangerous. So just keep an additional filter like an arrow, so that you take only that much, whatever is being told to you. Now coming to the topics and view, how many of you feel that, how many of you are wearing brands today? Can you raise your hand? Brands. Say about your shoes, your shirts, your dress, your specs, your mobile, your undergarments. How many of you feel? Vidushriji, I think anything and everything is, we live in a world of brands. You're studying in a brand that is called as NDIM. That is, there may be a reason for you guys to come and join NDIM, right? So the world of brands is something which we have been driven of today. Now then the question is, which are the biggest brand in the world? Definitely there will be people like an young girl who is talking over a phone. Okay, she's getting a very, very important call at this particular time. So she feels that she needs to be taking that call. But which phone do you use, ma'am? Which phone do you use? Samsung. So why did you bought Samsung? Huh?
It is from Korea.
It's from Korea. So you have any special love for Korea? Okay, she has got a special love for Korea. So that's the reason for her to buy. So she did not say the truth. वो एकदम मुंह में जो आया वो बताया हुआ है, because Samsung is a good phone, it's a big premium brand, whatever it may be, right? And even if it is Korea, Korea is considered as a better brand image than China. If the moment you say China, then we will feel that it is a little low on quality. That's the standard way of thinking. So then my question still remains that which is the biggest brand according to you? You are all management students.
We ourselves.
You are yourself is the biggest brand. What's your name, sir?
Nikhil.
निखिल. So I निखिल. तो उठ के खड़े होके बोलना. तुम ब्रांड है तो पता तो चले.
Yes sir.
क्या बोलो? क्या पूरा नाम क्या है?
Sir Nikhil Sharma.
निखिल.
Sharma.
I think Nikhil Sharma, at least he has got the guts, and he feels that he is the biggest brand. And who else can tell me that one or two names that which you feel is the biggest brand?
Apple.
Apple, okay. कौन सा एप्पल है? जो फोन वाला एप्पल है या एप्पल खाने वाला एप्पल है?
Not edible.
Not edible वाला, ये वाला एप्पल है. Okay. Who else?
Alphabet.
Alphabet. Okay. So you mean to say Google? Correct? Tesla. Okay.
Saudi also.
Saudi, oh very good. बहुत ज़्यादा ज्ञान मिल रहा है बच्चों को आजकल. हाँ. Very good. So somebody said that Nikhil feels that he is the brand, and somebody feels that Apple, and somebody says it's Google or the Alphabet or the Saudi Aramco, that is the biggest oil company in the world. Pretty good. So there are people who will have something else. Somebody said that like Samsung is a big brand. Of course, indeed. But have you ever thought? Well, I will not talk about my entire book in another 10 minutes. It's simply not possible, and I should not make that mistake. But I'll just give you a little bit of food for thought and leave. And I promise you I will not bore you. Because I understand that the people who are sitting on the other side, you should consider about them before you talk. The most important thing is that the brands whichever you have talked about, according to me, they are not the biggest brands. And I still say once again, they are not the biggest brands. How many of you believe in God? How many of you? Okay. I mean 50%. So I would say that the 50% में से 10% भी भगवान में विश्वास नहीं करते हो, बाकी को थोड़ा हाथ उठाने में तकलीफ होगा. So we generally, or at least before you go to an exam, how many of you take the name of the God? कोई भी भगवान हो सकता है. It can be Christ, It's, So most of you go before you enter an exam hall and say that, yeah, hey Bhagavan, or Jai Bajrang Bali, hey Ganesh ji, कोई ना कोई, जय श्री राम. So किसी ना किसी को तो हम बुलाता ही है. Correct? That's the standard. So then none of us talk. हम ये नहीं बोलते कि हे एप्पल मुझे बचाओ आज, ये तो नहीं बोलते. इवन चैट जीपीटी भी तो एग्जाम हॉल में तो अब तक तो अलाउड भी नहीं है. Neither we say that hey Samsung बचाओ, ये तो नहीं कहते. Correct? Most of the population, say about 7.5 billion people in the world, if you really look at it, how are they being divided? What is the way they have been divided? Say Indian, Chinese, US, whatever it may be. Beyond that, they have an identity which is called as religion. Agree with me?
Yes, sir.
So somebody says, I am a Hindu. And when you talk about a Hindu, what is that comes in your mind? Om. So the moment you see an Om somewhere, or even the saffron color, you would say that it is Hindu. Somebody says a crescent and a green color, by automatically you would say that it is Islam. Correct? By default?
Yes, sir.
Then the third one, the moment you see a cross, we know that it is Jesus Christ or Christianity. Now let me ask you, isn't it this religion is a bigger brand than any of them?
Yes.
Have you ever heard that because of an Apple phone, there are times कुछ ना कुछ होगा Apple की वजह से कोई दुनिया का कोई what do you call, any of the kingdom has failed or been thrown out? No. Is it because of a mobile phone or a brand of any Google की वजह से कोई government तो नहीं बदला, कोई kingdom तो नहीं बदला? एक दूसरे के साथ nobody has gone to fight with each other, नहीं हुआ. But then in the name of religion, people will fight, people will argue, people will fight. So the idea of religion is, according to me, is the biggest brand which has ever made by the God. In other words, in my book I say that this God's own brand. Just imagine this. How many of you are Hanuman Bhakt in this audience? भगवान बहुत ज़्यादा है यार. हनुमान जी का आजकल पॉपुलैरिटी ज़्यादा है. And how many of you are the great believer of Jai Shri Ram? Jai Shri Ram. काफी लोग. So the idea is that the moment you said, now I asked a question in the beginning. It took a while for me to get you out to ask you that which is the biggest brand in the country. It took a lot of time for somebody to even energize themselves and to tell that yes, this is the biggest brand. Correct? It was an effort to get that information. But the moment I said Jai Shri Ram, I could hear so many people, whether it is with an interest, whether it is to just to mock. It happens यार, इस उम्र में नहीं होगा तो फिर कब होगा. But हमने जरूर हाथ भी उठाया, जरूर हमने जय श्री राम 2-3 बार बोला भी है. So just think, close your eyes and think. The world is full of brands. And many. अच्छा एक बात बताओ, ब्रांड हनुमान को किसने क्रिएट किया? Anybody knows? No? अच्छा उस टाइम में इंटरनेट था क्या? How old is the brand Hanuman?
Thousands of years. 7,000 years.
चलो निखिल ने बोला है कि 7,000 years old है. चलो किसी ने बोला thousands of years हो, किसी एटलीस्ट हमारा 5, 10, 15 पीढ़ियों को तो पता नहीं था. वो लोग भी यही बोला होगा कि उससे भी हजारों साल पहले है. Am I right? So imagine the brand Hanuman. The moment you think of what is the brand is all about, the brand has got a perception, an identity, and a value system embedded. Then only it will become a brand. Correct? That NDIM, we feel that यार इधर हो गया तो इतना तो प्लेसमेंट मिलेगा ही मिलेगा. 7-8 लाख रुपए का तो नौकरी पक्का मिलेगा. मैं थोड़ा बहुत भी ठीक से पढ़ोगे तो. Isn't it a perception? And NDIM says that I have one of the finest industry interaction. Correct? So that means that's a brand perception of NDIM. The moment you look at that logo of red color and NDIM written, that is something which strikes you. That's the perception they wanted to create in you, right? Tomorrow when you go out and say that yes, I am a proud student of NDIM, I have done my course at the NDIM, will make you feel little up in front of many of the other people with whom you may compete tomorrow. So the idea is that the value perception. Then you just imagine without the internet, without the graphics artist or the computer, 7,000 years ago or 5,000 years ago or 2,000 years ago, we have created brands. And those brands have still continue to live on, as powerful as it used to be even maybe before time. So I told you brand Hanuman. Can you imagine a Hanuman without a Gadadhari? And imagine that we all talk about apple. उसने बोला क्या बोला था? Apple खाने वाला नहीं, दूसरा वाला apple. Correct? But imagine that how many names had Lord Hanuman, Bhagavan Hanuman के पास कितनी नाम है?
108.
बताओ 4-5 नाम तो बताओ. 12 names you know that? बताओ सुनाओ यार निखिल, तुम तो ब्रांड है ही है, तुमसे सीख ले लो. क्या बात है निखिल के लिए. Now the idea is that the power of brand Hanuman is at display here. The power of brand Hanuman is at its display. Apple says that I am very careful about brand image And I will not go little bit इधर भी नहीं हो सकता जो मेरा 100% ingredients होना चाहिए when my brand image 100% black होना चाहिए. I am a brand man. All my life I was creating brands and I am teaching brands. But then I can tell you, imagine the 12 names of Lord Hanuman is a display in 30 seconds. And the moment you think of Hanuman, you know that it is a monkey god, the one who can fly even the most, much speeder than in the air, the one who can even swallow the sun god, the one who can carry a big mountain. So what is that signifies as a brand Hanuman is signifies for what? क्या है बताओ आप? Bravery, power, strength, courage. Somebody said loyalty. I think somebody who's on the phone must be thinking वो करके तो नहीं बता रहे पता नहीं हाँ? Loyalty, honesty. मैंने तो कुछ नहीं बताया. देखो आप लोग खुद बता दिया एक ब्रांड का जो आप मैनेजमेंट इंस्टीट्यूट में ये बताता होगा पढ़ाता होगा मेरे हिसाब से हाउ ए ब्रांड इज क्रिएटेड. ब्रांड में क्या क्या होना चाहिए, यूनिक आइडेंटिटी होना चाहिए, उसके ये वैल्यू होना चाहिए, उसका व्हाट शुड बी द विजन, व्हाट शुड बी द मिशन एंड ऑल ऑफ दिस ड्रामा मस्ट बी टॉट टू यू एवरी डे. इट हैज बीन टॉट टू यू सिंस आई हैव नॉट गॉन टू अ मैनेजमेंट स्कूल. मैं सिर्फ सिखाने के लिए गया, मैं पढ़ने नहीं जाने का मौका नहीं मिला था. इसलिए नहीं था कि मैं गरीब था, पढ़ने में थोड़ा वीक था. But the idea of telling is that you all have been able to name the various names of Anjaneya Put, Hanuman, the brand Hanuman. You are able to give the number of adjectives, the qualities, the perception about the brand Hanuman is being at the display without even questioning. Now, is there anybody, any of the brand management institute में आपको ये पढ़ाया है क्या? नहीं. But you inherited this from societal values at your home, at your offices, wherever you go, from your societies you learned it. You mean, am I right? So the brand Hanuman, isn't it a bigger brand than any of these commercial brands of Samsung or an Apple or anything else?
Yes.
Yes. Just look at the same way. Jesus Christ. And I know how many of you are Christians or the people who believe in the Christianity here. There's hardly anyone. But we all know Christianity, am I right? Yes. The moment you see just adjacent to this there is a church. The moment you see the cross, what comes to your mind? Automatically we know that it's Christianity. The moment you think of Christianity, what else comes in your mind? That is the sacrifice of Jesus Christ. Forgiveness. So the bottom line is, the religions are definitely the biggest brand in the world. And I would rather say, all of you in your management classes, rather than studying about these commercial brands, and maybe Vidushi ma'am, try and teach the brands which live for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, which never had a brand manager like PKD Nambiar to create or to propagate. They never had any kind of management institute like this, but still thrived on. The Lord Ganesha, who is the Ganesh Bhakt कौन है इधर? सभी है. तो गणेश का भी नाम बताओ निखिल, कितनी नाम है? विनायक है, लंबोदरन, हाँ, एकदंत, हाँ, so many, right? Now imagine, have you ever thought that the Lord Ganesha is a brand? What you have been taught in the management schools or in anywhere else is to say that when you create a brand, it should have its own identity. Now, two gods' name I told you, that Lord Ganesha and the Lord Hanumanji, they are not like us. Are they like us? One is a Because Mastak, I mean the head of an elephant, the other one is a monkey god, but we still pray to them. We revere them. They have so many identities in almost every word. Even I preach and tell the people that you should have one single identity, but both the brand names which I have told you, they have got multiple identities. They have multiple names. So even if you say that Vikneshwar, we know that it is Bhagavan Ganesh hai. We know that when you say the Lambodhar, we know that it is Bhagavan Ganesh hai. So the idea of the real branding and marketing needs to be learned not from the angle of the modern techniques, which will not make you wise, but it will make you like a copycat. So my humble submission to all of you, look not within the framework of a typical management branding learning. If you are ever going to work, and I'm not a great fan of people going and working and applying for a job. The people who go and apply for a job, with all due respect, I know that many of you may have already made your resumes. Why do you want to make a resume? Why do you want to work for somebody? Think once. Why don't let the people work for you? You are all getting this knowledge of success. How to become successful, how to become a CEO. अरे CEO होता कौन है? किसी और का बनाए हुआ कंपनी को चलाने वाला. I have few CEOs in my company. But if a Nikhil can come up and say that I am the biggest brand, Nikhil should create a brand of himself and create a brand wherein people, maybe your juniors, will come and apply. If you ever wanted to be a leader, not for you only, from also to the others. Correct? That's the perception what you create about you to the others is your image of your brand image. Now what you wanted to think of you, what is the kind of an image you wanted to give it to the others? It could be your dressing up, it could be your intelligence, it could be your communication skill, it could be your commitment, it could be your knowledge, it could be the way you treat and respect others, it could be the way you take the responsibility, it could be something or the other, the way you treat yourself and the image what you wanted to create. The moment you know who you are, your strength and your weakness, and work on the weakness, you are there, you can be a brand. Thank you so much. I know that it's too late in the evening. I don't want it to bore you guys. Thank you so much. God bless you.